What are the key questions? I mean, is there anything even approaching an easy answer to it's time to stop, or the risk is greater if we don't stop?
So I think the first thing, Chris, that we need to put in our minds is what Israel felt like in the hours and days after October 7th. It was a shock unlike anything Israel had experienced. Israel, the military superpower of the Middle East, had been caught absolutely by surprise. When I visited in the weeks after that attack, I felt, yes, a sense of shock from Israelis, but also shame that this could have happened. So Netanyahu, who at that time was really an outcast, who in the polls was very unpopular with Israelis, has come back as a wartime leader. So, in a sense, he's riding that crest, and I think we'll hear that tone in his voice when he speaks later today. Again, the question is whether he can think carefully about strategic ends. Israel is better at starting wars historically than it is at ending them. And I think that's something Netanyahu should think very carefully about. The famous question that Dave Petraeus asked on the way to Baghdad in 2003, tell me how this ends. So that's the question today that Netanyahu should be thinking about. Tell me how this ends. Is this a moment when I begin to move toward the ending?
Richard Engel is someone who has been on the ground in that region, well, for decades, but particularly in the last year plus days since the October 7th attack. Address that, if you will, about the strategic considerations about whether to continue or to stop.
Well, I agree with David that there is a question whether Prime Minister Netanyahu can take the win, to use another colloquial expression. He has had success after success recently after the obviously intelligence failure of October 7th, killing Nasrallah, the way the missile defense systems in Israel with American support worked not only once, but worked twice to fend off an Iranian attack, now killing Sinwar. All of this relatively one after the other. But where does all this go? Prime Minister Netanyahu has never laid out a plan of what comes next in Gaza. So this could very well be the death of Hamas as we've known it. But what comes after that? To use the Osama bin Laden analogy, Osama bin Laden was killed. He was a key leader. He was the architect of 9/11. His death did set back al-Qaeda tremendously. But in this vacuum, ISIS came up. And ISIS was brutal. ISIS was, I don't want to say worse than 9/11, but it was very different, and it was equally aggressive and carried out many attacks, a lot of them in Europe, including the Bataclan attack. So will this blow to Hamas, to Yahya Sinwar, to the Hamas leadership, be the death of Hamas, or will it be the rebirth of something else that is potentially just as radical or even more radical? Because how do things improve? What is the off-ramp for Gaza? The Gaza Strip has been devastated. More than 40,000 people killed there. Two-thirds of the buildings, I believe is the latest estimate, have either been damaged or destroyed. A tremendous amount of misery and suffering and a sense of hopelessness. And hopelessness always breeds extremism. So this could be very important tactically, very important psychologically for the Israeli people. It could have direct consequences, perhaps very devastating consequences for the hostages. We don't know. We'll have to see on that. But will this be the end of militancy in Gaza? I don't believe so by any stretch of the imagination. And we still don't know whether this will be an off-ramp for Prime Minister Netanyahu. Will this just be more encouragement that he is winning and then needs to keep winning and keeps to push his position, particularly when it comes to Iran, because that is still pending, Israel's military response against Iran for the last missile barrage.